Oh no, what did I just do? Well, hello, party people. How's it going? There we go. Now we're back to me being able to see what is going on. We are live right now, and we're going to be flying some drones, so let's get after it. Oh, I just hit the wall because I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. All right, here we go. All right, not off to a great start. So welcome everyone into the live. How is it going? How is what's today, Monday? Happy Monday, everyone. We survived the weekend. I don't know about you all, but I had an absolutely insane weekend. It was shooting a conference for 2 days straight, and I'm pretty sure I walked over 10 miles every single day. We definitely had over 20,000 step days in both of those days of the conferences, and so that was a lot, and my body is definitely hurting because of that. But thankfully, it went well. Client was happy, and yeah, it was really good. I got to fly my drone through a convention center, which is always a ton of fun. It was empty, which I go back and forth so many times with flying sometimes in convention centers with people in it, because like I want to, but like the ceilings here were, I mean, they were probably 20-foot ceilings, but you've got booths sticking up. It was a fishing conference, so there were fishing poles sticking up everywhere, and I was just, I didn't want to hit something and crash that drone and then have to go run and retrieve it. So did not fly above people. I'll probably will next year because I'll have some equipment that I'll be a little bit more confident in. I had my O3 air unit drop out of the sky on me a couple times over the past several months, and I know DJI says that they fixed it, but it still just makes me nervous flying over people, and I didn't have my Avata with me because the event space is right next to the airport, and I know that DJI has removed the geo fences and stuff, but the problem is still with remote ID. I'm not trying to get in trouble for stuff, which I know I can't, but it's still just one of those things. So needless to say, we flew through the event space, just didn't fly it whenever people were in there. Welcome. We are flying. Let's see if I need to adjust some of these settings over here. Nope. Oh, did not want to do that. That is not what we are trying to do. Oh, and would you look, that just messed up the... All right, here we go. Back at it again with the white vans. So yeah, welcome to the stream. If you're on here, send a thumbs up, say hello. Let's hang out. Ask me any questions that you may have about drones, because your boy knows quite a bit. Also, I'm thinking the live stream looks better now. We upgraded the camera yet again, and a company reached out to me this week, and hopefully we'll be upgrading the camera even more. I do apologize that there is no audio for the game. Apple does not allow devices to use whatever. It's just a mess. Streaming on a MacBook is not smart, but here we are. We're doing what we can do, and hopefully it's not very glitchy. The game had an update today, and that always kind of concerns me whenever I'm about to stream or something, because you never know what'll happen. Oh, you know what we actually need to do? We need to change it to where we're in a public session so you all can join if you want to fly with me. So let's do that now. We'll go to multiplayer, do that. We'll create session. We'll go floaters extreme just like we were, and boom, we are now. If you have Velocidrone, you can jump on with me and we can play together. So if you've got Velocidrone, jump on, let's play. Welcome to the stream. Comment below how your Monday is going, and just say hi. Let's hang out. Let's talk drones. I could talk drones forever, so I can see you. I can see that you're in here. I see you. Let's hang out. Let's talk. What's good? Also, I don't know how much of a delay everything is on for you guys versus me. I don't think I have a stream delay on here, but who knows? Still figuring it out. Oh, tried to Maddie flip that, and that did not work. That one did. Is anybody dizzy yet? One of the things that's crazy about flying drones is you don't get dizzy whenever you're flying because you're controlling the drone. I mean, like if you've got bad motion sickness, you're going to get sick regardless. But like it's the same thing with like a car. I know a lot of people with motion sickness that can't ride with someone else in the car, but they can drive the car because it doesn't affect their motion sickness. And so that's the same way with flying drones. Is like if I was riding along with someone or flying along with someone, there's a higher potential that I'll get motion sickness. Whereas if I'm flying it myself, I ain't getting motion sickness at all. And we're just crashing. That's what this is all about. That's one of the reasons why I love flying in a simulator so much, is because you can just crash, and it doesn't matter. Maybe I should do some racing. If we get some other pilots in here, we could for sure do some racing, which would be a ton of fun. Ooh, what I really need to do is I need to do this course backwards. So I have a problem where I can only turn to the left. So I have to do courses backwards because for whatever reasons, a lot of courses turn to the left, and it's really odd. It's kind of like NASCAR. I feel like NASCAR has influenced the all racing industries because there's just a lot of right turns or a lot of left turns. NASCAR goes left, right? Am I crazy? But also, too, flying this course backwards is so weird. I know this course, flying it forwards like the back of my hand. And, oh, we're actually not doing too bad for flying it backwards. Okay, I'm impressed. All right. Did a full lap without crashing. I mean, sometimes I can't even do that flying it normal. Oh, that was almost a crash. And obviously, my power loops are gnarly. But yeah, flying it backwards isn't too bad at all. But what it does is it just gets you out of that muscle memory and keeps you fresh and keeps your skills up. Oof. Oh, come on. There we go. Can y'all hear me? Can we get a thumbs up in the chat if y'all can hear me? Let's get some interactions going. I can't be the only one talking here. It's gonna be a very boring stream if I'm the only one contributing. I can read chats while I fly, I promise. It's a skill that I have taken a long time to try to master, but it does happen. That's one of the reasons I get asked all the time. People are like, well, how are you able to talk and fly? Because a lot of people, it is very difficult to talk and fly at the same time. And a lot of people are like, well, how do you talk and fly? And this is the way. If I can stream and look at chats, hey, we got a chat. Looks fun. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. It is an absolute blast. It's so much fun. If I could, I would fly drones all day. Like today, I was doing I'm doing a review that might come out. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. It'll probably come out on Wednesday. About 2 drones, and so I flew them outside today at not at a parking lot. My goodness, at a playground, and I flew 4 battery packs, and I was like, dang, I wish I would have charged so many more packs. I could have just sat there and flown and flown and flown all day. And it was a really windy day, and these drones are tiny, so I was actually impressed at how well they did. But yeah, if I could just fly drones all day, I would do that for the rest of my life without any issues. That was weird. I kind of like glitched out. But yeah, talking and flying drones is not the easiest thing in the world because there's a whole lot of concentration that's required. But I also think that a lot of times whenever people are flying drones, they're kind of in their heads, trying like to make sure that they don't run into things and don't crash. And it's one of those things. There was I don't know if it was a psychologist I heard talk about it. I'm sure a lot of people have talked about it, but it's one of those things where if you think about something, if you're saying to yourself, like, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, you're going to crash because that's what you're putting into your brain is the word crash. And so it's one of those things where like you look where you're going. So, or you go where you're looking. So if you are thinking about crashing, you're going to crash. Whereas whenever you're talking while you're flying or even like listening to music and stuff, it kind of gets your head out of that don't crash, don't crash, don't crash mindset. And it makes you fly much better. I know a lot of people fly with like headphones in and stuff like that. And, you know, I enjoy flying with headphones in. For one, it helps me talk to my visual observer. And then two, I can listen to music while I'm doing it. And so, it just makes you get out of your head, and it's just so much more comfortable to fly. Like a lot of times whenever I'm doing drone home tours, I will be on the phone with my I'll be on the phone with my visual observer, and then I will also be listening to music. What first controller should you get? So it depends on how much money you want to spend. So you can get controllers for $50. You can get controllers for $250. You can use, for a simulator, you can use an Xbox controller. I would personally start off with either a Radio Master Pocket, which I think is a $50 controller, and those are really great controllers for just kind of starting off and figuring out what you like. Or if you get like a kit or something like the Beta FPV Cetus X kit, it'll come with a controller, and you can use that on the simulator, and then you can also use that obviously for the drone that it comes with. So, the kit is like $350, I think, or you can get them for cheaper depending on which kit you get. But the controllers are around $50 for just a kind of standard drone controller. The one I'm using right now has special gimbals in it that are CNC'd aluminum, and so it's a little bit more heavy duty. It's smoother. They don't wear out as quickly, and so this one was like, I want to say it was like $180 for this controller. But I've also been flying for like 3 years now, so I had used the TBS Tango 2 for a while, or really since I started, and then upgraded to this, and that one had plastic gimbals. Your Xbox controller is too sensitive for liftoff. You might be able to change your sensitivity if you're using an Xbox controller. I will say Xbox controllers and like gaming controllers are different than drone controllers. So if you look at my controller here, I think you can see it. This stick doesn't return to center on the up and down motion like an Xbox controller would. So like this one does. It flicks and it comes back to normal. And so that's so you can control your throttle. And because an Xbox controller does return to center, it's kind of a different feeling whenever you're flying, because you're kind of having to like force the stick forward and like keep applying pressure, whereas I'm not really having to do that, and I can kind of flick it a little bit better. So Xbox controllers and stuff are great because it gets your foot in the door, but eventually you'll want to upgrade to an actual drone controller once you like want to get into it more, just because it feels better. And it's, what you'll be flying. Like, I don't know of no FPV pilots that I know of, so I can't say for 100% certain, but no one has their throttle stick return to center automatically. because, you know, you're controlling the speed of the motors. Whenever I'm doing these flips and stuff, I'm making the motors go faster, and then I'm cutting the motors completely. And so it's just easier if the stick doesn't return to center, because if you're at center, you're at 50% throttle. And if you just let go of the stick for a second or whatever, it'll just zoom off. So like right now I can have it, my throttle's at about 30% and we're just hovering straight, and I can kind of readjust my fingers and stuff. Whereas if it returned to center, that center right there, it's just going to have a flyaway. Yes. So the controller can be interchangeable with all your FPV drones. So the controller has it. You get the controller, and controllers either come with a certain protocol, or you get a module to add protocols to it, like receiver protocols. So this controller that I'm using right now has an ELRS protocol built into it, which ELRS is kind of the most common, and you can program that with all your different drones as long as the drone has an ELRS protocol, which almost every single one of them does. Or you can do something like, I also have a crossfire module that I'll put on the back of my controller, that my drones that have crossfire modules in use those. So I have multiple protocols with my controller, or receiver. I don't know the actual terminology right off the top of my head. But all of my drones work off of this one controller, minus my DJI drones. DJI drones have to have a DJI controller. I wish they didn't, because I would love to be able to fly my Avata 2 with this controller, but that's just, they can charge you $200 for a controller, and then you have to pay that, versus, having your own controller that you don't have to pay, that they don't get money from. So you want to start with a mini drone and work your way to a large drone? Yeah, absolutely. So there's two different ways that you can do that. You can kind of future-proof yourself a little bit. So you can either buy a kit like the Beta FPV Cetus kit. The only reason why I keep bringing that kit up is because the Beta FPV kits are the only ones that I've actually reviewed. I haven't had any other kits, so that's why I say that one, because I know that one works and does good. And I actually still use the goggles from that kit almost every single day. Or you can go the route of getting like the Radiomaster Pocket controller and buying that controller, buying a small drone like, the Beta FPV Air 65 or the Mobula 6 or the newbie drone Hummingbird, something that's small and under $100, and then you buy batteries for like $30 and a charger and then some goggles, and you're good. The Beta FPV kits are great. I personally don't like the controllers that they come with. I don't think that they are kind of future-proofing. So I would suggest, if you do get one of those kits, to use it, obviously, and get comfortable. And once you're wanting to upgrade to a different drone, then go ahead and get the Radiomaster Pocket, or get a bigger controller or something like that. So there's several ways that you can go about doing it. It all kind of depends on if you want to buy a kit that's complete with everything, or if you want to piece everything together to itself. What sim? This is Velocidrone. It is my favorite simulator. I like it because I feel like the physics are the most true to real life. So the drone that I'm actually using right now is the same drone that I have in real life, and so it makes things just so much simpler, and it's not this weird, like, some drone simulators can be super floaty to where the drones just float forever. Some simulators can be super heavy to where the drones sink really fast. So it really just depends. Matty flip, I got you. That wasn't really, what was that? No, that doesn't count as a Matty flip. That was just better than the DRL sim. Yes, I think this one is much better than the DRL sim. The DRL sim seems floaty to me, not flirty. I mean, maybe. The DRL sim seems really floaty to me. So I would say, yeah, this sim is my favorite. What FPV drone do you recommend for beginners? I recommend getting something small. Obviously, starting off, first off, I recommend getting a simulator. That's how I started personally, so that's why I recommend it, because I was able to crash for free for 6 months before I bought a drone and then crashed and broke it, because a lot of people will go out and buy a drone and crash it their first day and then break it and never fly again. So I always recommend a simulator first, and you can even do a simulator on your phone. Like, there are free simulators that you can do on your phone. They're kind of hard to control, but you just do it. And then you could get something like the Beta FPV Cetus X kit, which I have reviewed, so I know that one is good. And then, or you could kind of build your own kit and kind of piece it together, buying the controller, the drone. I would recommend starting off with a 65 millimeter drone, just to get your foot in the door. Let's see here. What sim is this? This sim is Velocidro. Ad Baby, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just piddling around. I'm not doing anything too crazy or specific, just having some fun with it. But yeah, this is what the streams are. We just fly the best we can and chat drones. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I will be doing live streams guaranteed every single Wednesday night. This is kind of just a pop-up stream that I had, so I'll be doing random ones throughout the week and stuff like that as I have time. I do run a full-time media business as well, so that kind of cuts into my schedule and how much attention I can do on streaming, but guaranteed every single Wednesday. The Beta FPV Pavo 20 Pro is good. Yes, I love that drone. I actually have that. Beta FPV sent it to me for review, and it is super solid. I would say that for a beginner, it might be a little much if you have actually, I'm not even gonna say it might be. If you're a beginner and you've never flown before, I would not recommend the Pavo 20 Pro, because it gets after it. And if you have never flown a drone, it is gonna be too much drone for you to handle. So that's why I suggest something like a 65 millimeter. It's, you can get 65 millimeter drones like these little baby tiny whoops. I've got a couple of reviews on a couple of them. You can get them for under $100. And so if you crash and destroy $100, it's not as bad as crashing and destroying, $400. So to me, I would much rather learn on a cheaper drone because, the drones, the 65 millimeter drones that are the tiny ones, they fly the exact same as the big ones. I'm actually really mad at myself for not starting with 65 millimeter drones. I started with kind of bigger drones, but yeah, the 65 millimeter ones are awesome. I fly those on a daily basis. I've got 3 of them, I think, that I'll flip around to. Do I fly 3D? No, I want to fly 3D. I'm kind of terrified to fly 3D. I feel like I need a 5-inch drone to fly 3D, and I only have one 5-inch drone right now. I'm piecing together parts so I can build another one, and I'll have a whole video about my process and building it from scratch coming out in probably a month. But yeah, I really, really, really want to fly 3D. I've seen a couple shorts pop up of people flying 3D, and I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Pavo Pro or Pavo Fento? So I haven't flown the Pavo Fento yet, so I can't tell you with certainty, but I want everything with an 04 air unit. So the Avata 2 technically has an 04 air unit in it, and that's what I use for all my business stuff, because the video quality is just that good. So I just bought an 04 air unit. I'm waiting on some brackets to mount it to the drone I want to mount it to, and then I'll have a review out on that as well. And oh, sweet, Ed Baby, you fly too? Heck yeah, that's what I love. You're changing from analog to 04. Yeah, I want everything 04. I do love my analog stuff for like tiny whoops. Like I'm telling you, today I went out to a playground and just bashed the snot out of some drones that were tiny whoops, little 75 millimeter drones. They're just so much fun. So I don't think I'll ever get rid of an analog setup, just because I can fly super cheap and just kind of beat them up and not really worry about it. you find whoops are too twitchy and hard to control, you can barely fly whoops in The Sims. It's practically pinball indoors. But you went Mobula 8, which is 85 millimeter. So yeah, Mobula 8 is a great drone. It is, so it 100% is like playing pinball indoors whenever you're first flying tiny whoops, because they are extremely responsive and just kind of harder to control. But I've found that the better I'm able to fly my tiny whoops inside, the way more control I have over like my 5-inch drones flying outside. Zoe FPV, yes, she is insane. She is like the godfather of 3D flying. Like she still does it. Even I feel like 3D flying got popular for a little while and then it kind of went away, and then now it's kind of coming back a little bit, and I feel like she has stayed consistently flying 3D throughout all of it. Like she's the OG of 3D flying, I would say. What remote do I use? So I've got the Radiomaster Boxer Crush that I'm using. It's in the Arctic blue color or something like that. You can probably see it at the bottom of the screen. I love this controller. Obviously I'm a pincher, and so I've had the Tango 2 since I started flying, and that's the game style controller. And I flew with my buddy's Mamba a couple months ago, and I felt the way that controller felt in my hands, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting one of these fatter controllers. You got the Pavo 25 V03 naked GoPro on top, professional work. You're from LDM, don't know how much you charge. Some recommendations. Let's see here. Do you recommend naked GoPro on top, professional work? So obviously a GoPro is going to be better than the 04 or 03 air unit, but I will say 90% of the work that I do for companies and stuff goes on their social media, because like, you know, FPV tours and stuff like that kind of have a little bit of ability to go viral and stuff. So I will use just the camera that's on the drone. So if that's the 03 air unit or the 04, which I don't have any 04s right now. I've got an 04, but I don't have it connected to any drones right now. I'm waiting on some brackets. So I would use, if you're going to use a GoPro right now, I would say GoPro 12 is probably the only one that really beats the 04 air unit footage in terms of like worth and stuff, because the 04 is 10-bit, and then you can use gyroflow and stuff. The only issues that I have with using the 04 is that you can't record. So GoPro can record in like an 8:7 or something like that, which you can use the same video footage for vertical and horizontal without too much loss of video footage. Whereas with the 04, it only records in 16:9 or 4:3, and you lose a lot whenever you try to do vertical. Let's see here. You ran it on 1S and reduced max throttle like 60% via beta flight. Oh goodness, if it was that much, then that's insane. Yeah, I mean, I think 85 is kind of on your limits. Like the Mobula 8, I think it's kind of on your limits for flying indoors, kind of just starting off. That's why I use the 65 millimeters. If you throw a 65 mil in there, they're awesome. That's what I fly inside. And I've got, you know, my basement may look massive in some of my videos, but it's nothing too crazy. And so my house is kind of chopped up a lot, and I love flying my 65 millimeter whoops through there. No naked GoPro if you're a new pilot. Yes, you are completely correct. You're a French pilot. Heck yeah, that is awesome. I love to see it. I love it's crazy how many people all over the world fly FPV. It just blows my mind completely. It's so cool that, like, you know, we can all have the same fondness for flying drones and just be from everywhere. Is the Avata 2 a good starter FPV drone? Should you get to use FPV DJI from eBay? So I started off with a used FPV from eBay, the DJI FPV drone. I think the Avata 2 is fantastic. I will say there is the capability with the Avata 2 to learn bad habits if you're not flying it properly. That will not do you well whenever you go to do not real FPV drones, because they're all real FPV drones, but kind of like custom 5-inch freestyle drones. There is the ability to kind of learn some bad habits, but I do think that if you're wanting kind of an all-in-one thing and you're not scared, or you get DJI Care Refresh, and you've got some money to spend, I think that, you'd be fine. Let's see here. You're a good pilot. Nice. Thank you so much, Alexandre. I can't read. Hang on. Avata 2 is perfect starter drone. This guy's giving a lot of good info. I'm trying, there are no secrets here. I will tell you absolutely everything. There no gatekeeping. That's what it is. I speak very fast for you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to all the chats. There's a lot of you guys in here. There's 94 of you all in here. So hit that subscribe button and join the channel. We're going to be doing lives every Wednesday, and I try to come out with a new video every single week. It is all FPV content or a little bit of filmmaking, because I do have my own production company that I run as well. I thought it would be good for indoors on 1S, perfectly capable. Outdoors 2S, supposed to be your indoor winter practice drone. You'll probably pick up 65, 60, 75. Yeah, absolutely. So I am in the process of reviewing the Meteor 75 and the Air 75. I already have a review on the Air 75 from Beta FPV, but they just sent me the Meteor 75 Pro. I would dare to say that I like the Meteor 75 better for indoor flying because it's heavier, which I know is kind of counterintuitive. Most of my drones that I fly are just kind of heavier drones, just because I've bought what is, I don't know, easy. I couldn't tell you. They're all just heavier drones. And so I prefer flying with a heavier drone just a little bit, not like heavy as in the DJI FPV, the potato, but I do like having a little bit of weight because it kind of tones the drone down a little bit. But that's also kind of like a skill issue for me, not because they're better. It's just my own personal preference. So I would look into maybe like one of the Meteor series, or even like the Mobula 6. I love my Mobula 6. And then I also have the newbie drone Hummingbird, and that one's a ton of fun, but that sucker is intense. You got to know your stuff in order to be flying that thing, because it just zips around. Hey, we got a new subscriber. Heck yeah. Thank you, Christian, for the subscription. Let's see here. Best starter drone. You're looking at buying one soon. If you're wanting a full kit, I would get the Cetus X kit. If you're wanting just for drone itself, I would look into something that is 65 millimeters, a tiny whoop. So something like the Meteor 65, the Mobula 6, or the Speedy Bee, or no, I'm sorry, not Speedy Bee, or the newbie drone Hummingbird, or there's one more that I'm forgetting. Just don't get the Hummingbird race spec if it's your first drone, because you'll want to pull your hair out. Hey, thank you, XLulu, for subscribing. I appreciate you so much. Let's see here. Avata 2. Yeah, Avata 2. Can't go wrong with it. Oh, okay, Peyton. I see you. I didn't realize that was you. I'm trying to fly and speak. Yeah. Bro, Peyton, just text me. We'll get you set up on a drone. Because I've got plenty. And I can get you something. There's a drone that I gave my dad that he doesn't fly much. You can watch that video. And so we might be able to get you that one that he's got. So just hit me up, Peyton. Oh no, we froze. What on earth? It kicked me out of my multiplayer session. All right, let's try this again. Okay, let's go to some chats. My English is tripping me up. Your English excuse you for the false. No, that's okay. I can try to talk slower. I just get really excited. And so, oh, that was the wrong map. It's fine. You prefer light drone, Air 65 racing, best tiny whoop. Yeah, I mean, they don't get me wrong. I can tell that those drones are phenomenal and they are amazing. Just from my style of flying, I'm I kind of prefer a little bit heavier, but I also don't do a ton of racing. As you can see, I'm just freestyling here and not really racing. Heavy sounds good. Also, hospital helps make entire town no-fly zone, so sub 250 park ping pong ball drones. Yeah, that's oh yeah, this is a completely different. I've never clicked on this track before. Yeah, so hospitals definitely make it hard for a no-fly zone, but I don't know, cuz I can fly. Like, look into the laws, because I don't quote me on this, but I believe as long, like, the hospitals don't make it a no-fly zone. You just have to make sure that there's no air traffic in the area whenever you are flying. I believe. I'm not saying that this is not legal advice, 100%, but I believe that you can still fly near hospital. I mean, you obviously can't fly like in the hospital or anything like that, or on top of it, but I do believe that it's not the same 5-mile radius. I actually know for a fact it's not the same 5-mile radius rule that is for airports. Okay, let's see here. Looking to build a new Baby Tooth 1S with the DJI 04 light. Ooh, that'll be sick. I want to get some 04 lights. Honestly, I would love to convert everything over to 04. Oh, thank you so much, Johannes Live, for subscribing. I appreciate you. I would love to convert all of my drones to the 04 light, but there's just something about being able to have an analog basher drone that I'm just a fan of. Let's see here. How do you feel about remote ID? The remote. How do you feel about remote? Are you talking remote ID or just the controller in general? Because with controllers, if you're doing your first one, I suggest the Radio Master Pocket. And I'm not sponsored by any of these companies that I'm saying. If you purchase something from Beta FPV with the link in one of my descriptions of my videos, I'll get some kickback on that. But like Beta FPV and Newbie Drone and MEPS are the only ones that I have affiliate links for. Everything else is just me telling you what I think. Generally, you prefer the lightest drones possible, zero unnecessary 3D prints. What can be solved is a cable tie. Such structures fly best. Yeah, I agree. My 5-inch is the Nazgul Evoke, and it's a heavy drone. And I'm building a new drone at the moment. I got a flight controller from someone. I'm getting some motors from MEPS, and then I got a air units and a couple of other things coming in, and I'm hoping to get a 5-inch that's under 250 or at 250. Alexandre, thank you for subscribing. Shibu Thomas, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you guys, or girls, or my dudes. What just happened? Did I get a new notification? I heard something ding in my ear. Let's see here. You'll hit you up about it, bro. Crazy, bro. This is a big stream. You got a crap ton of people watching. Yeah, I appreciate everyone who's jumping in and watching this stream. It is crazy. I think this is only my 4th live stream on YouTube ever. I used to stream on other platforms, but we're all in on YouTube 2025, baby. Let's go. Very good, brother. Follow you now. New mentor of English. You fly Reckon 5 DJI 03 radio is a Commando 8. I don't know if I know what the Commando 8 is. You'll have to like DM me on Instagram or something and send me what that looks like, because obviously, with this channel I want to do drone reviews and I want to teach as much as possible and help people out, because I do have I wouldn't say like a super successful drone business, but like I'm kind of the drone pilot for my area, and so anything I can do to help out, get new products out there and stuff like that, I'm all about it. Remote ID. So I hate remote ID with a passion. I do follow remote ID because I have to, and because I'm part 107 and I have a business and everything like that. But I don't think people should be able to know where I am standing while I'm flying and where my drone is at while I'm flying, because that creates a safety hazard for me. You know, a lot of this drone equipment is really expensive, and so it's kind of putting a beacon on myself saying, hey, look at me, come rob me. I have a lot of equipment with me. So I'm not a fan of remote ID. I understand why they do it. I do think that they are, they either need to enforce it or they need to get rid of it. And there's just been a whole lot of problems with them. You know, I think if you have remote ID, you should be allowed to fly over people. That is my personal thing. And that is not the case for a lot of stuff. So the FAA just needs to get their stuff together. And obviously, you know, we've seen in the news that there's a lot of planes going down and a bunch of problems and stuff with the FAA. So I don't think right now their biggest concern is drones. So yeah. All right, let's see here. It's the helipad airport at the hospital. You can only fly 200 from Canada. Nothing interesting to fly. Big drone. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so you're in Canada. So Canadian laws are completely different than U.S. laws. I have absolutely no idea what Canadian laws are and stuff. I know for me, and I can fly, like, you know, I live in Louisville and there's all kinds of hospitals and stuff downtown, and I don't have any issues flying downtown. I just don't fly above the hospitals. What sim is it? You've never seen it. It's Velocidrone. Thank you, Norcy, for helping me out with that. What's your area? Anyone in Miami? I wish I was in Miami. Hey, if someone wants to fly me out to Miami, I'll do drone jobs for free if you pay my travel. Oh, that's a good thing. Hey, listen, everyone, I will do drone jobs for free if you pay my travel. So, keep that in the back of your minds. If you hear of anyone needing a drone pilot, and it is out of the state of Kentucky or out of, let me say this, because I traveled to Tennessee and Indiana too. If it is more than 8 hours away from me, I will travel for free and do the drone job, so that I can get out of here, and do more stuff. So, tell that to everyone you know, that your boy will do free drone work if travel is paid for. You was browsing YouTube before going to bed, and now you made me want to fire up Velocidrone and fly it. Heck yeah, well, let's jump in it. I think someone else has joined in here. Let me switch my view. Yeah, we got someone. Cody is flying with us. Heck yeah. Netherlands here. It's 1:40 a.m. and no way you can sleep, so you're gonna watch this. Well, Wolfie, I appreciate you staying up, team and no sleep, and hanging out with me. I'll be up super late tonight. I got these streams scheduled from 7 to 9, and then at 9 I'll hop off of here and talk to my girl for a bit, and then your boy has commercials that he has to edit, and I've got another YouTube video I need to make, which I won't do that tonight. I'll just be editing the commercials tonight, or who knows, I might go to sleep and wake up at 5. Travel and accommodation. Yes, you are correct. Travel and accommodation. I have to have a place to sleep. But yeah, I've done all kinds of work like that for free. So goodbye, my friend. Well, I appreciate you, Alexandre. I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Velocidrone Sim is like $25, I believe, and then there's like expansion packs that you can get, which I've got the freestyle expansion pack, which I think is like $5 or $10. But traveling, yes. So I have done a lot of free work for travel. So I have been to Africa for free for a whole month because I exchanged my video production services and photography skills to a nonprofit organization. I've been to Guatemala twice for exchanging my services for a trip. I've been to New York a couple times, exchanging services for my trip. Let's see, I went to Mexico this past year to shoot a wedding. Oh, listen, this wedding last year was awesome. It was a all-inclusive resort that I got to stay at for a whole week for shooting their wedding. So I worked one day shooting the whole wedding. Now, obviously, I had to come home and edit it and everything like that. But then I got to go hang out at an all-inclusive resort for a whole week for free, and just had to shoot a wedding, which, to be honest, I don't know if I would have if they would have paid me my rate. I don't know if they would have if I would have actually made, well, I would have charged them travel. So yeah, they definitely got a good deal for that one, because they got an Emmy award winning cinematographer to go to Mexico with them for a week, and it was fantastic. It was so much fun. I will do weddings anywhere in the world as long as someone pays my travel and accommodations, because it's just so much fun. And like, so that wedding took place the week after the Avata 2 was released. So my second flight with the Avata 2 was in on a beach in Mexico in Paradise. It was awesome. Thanks, Links, for hanging out. Appreciate you. We'll see you on Wednesday. Also, if you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll have live streams every single Wednesday, guaranteed, from 7 to 9. And then I hope to do videos once a week, and we do everything FPV and drones. What's the name of the cheese and Velocidrone? The cheese. I'm not sure. Do you mean course? It's called Coastal. So that is the map that I'm on, is Coastal, and this is my favorite map. Where are we going? Oh, gonna hit something. Ah! No, it's fine. I need to get a PC so that way I can give you guys the game audio. So because I stream on a Mac, Apple will not let me. I have to download a bunch of other programs and stuff, and let's be honest, my computer is struggling with this game as it is, and the stream. So hopefully in the next 6 months, I'll make enough from going live to where we can have a PC and y'all can have the audio. And then hopefully we'll be able to do some like Discord stuff, and jump on Discord while I'm flying and get some other insane pilots in here. I want to get like CJ FPV. I want to get Somatic FPV in here. So there's a lot of guys that I know that are big names in the FPV world, and they've got so many insights. Kyle Moeller at TGN Productions, the dude is insane. So we'll do some like guest streams in the future as this grows, and we'll bring on some other pilots and we'll fly with them and see their tricks and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about the prospect. Now, I mean, obviously this is still in its infant stages and stuff, but it's going to grow, and we're going to get more and more people involved and some bigger and better streams. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because you're not going to want to miss any of this stuff. And then I think eventually we're going to have to get to where it's going to be subscriber only chats, and then eventually members only, depending on how big we get this. But you know, we'll see what happens. Am I on the East Coast? Yes, I am on. Well, I can't. Technically, I mean, I guess you could call it these. I'm in Kentucky, so it's not really the East Coast, but yes, it's the East Coast. That was the long answer whenever I should have just said yes. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine, guys. It's also really warm in my room right here. Oh, name of the server. The name of the server is Johnny. I think it's Johnny Trigo YouTube or YT. Johnny Trigo YT. Or Johnny T YT, maybe. It's Johnny something YT. I want to say it's Johnny Trigo YT. And you can jump on and fly. And if you jump on and fly, we'll watch you for a second. Let's see what our other buddy's doing, Cody. Let's see what he's doing. What region? I want to say the East Coast region. Let's see here. Okay, I see you getting them ladder gaps. Oh, he paused. He's sitting. Got some tips for a fellow FPV pilot starting off with filming. You fly a 4-inch analog, probably one of the first people to film sled dog racing. Oh, that is so sick. Sled dog racing and flying that's awesome. Heck yeah. So I would suggest, goodness gracious, just get smooth with your flying. That's the biggest thing. So like I can show you, well, I can't hop off this map without ending the server. I was gonna say I can show you like flying indoors and stuff, but just get smooth with it. Practice chasing things in a simulator, and then really just dial in your camera settings. So I'm gonna teach everyone some hacks. I'm going to teach everyone. Everyone needs to listen to this, because I don't care what any drone photographer or drone pilot, I don't care what any videographer, I don't care what any of them says. Whenever it comes to this, I fly every single drone, every single video, everything. Okay, not everything, not all my cinema stuff and whatnot. Anything that involves an FPV drone and a GoPro, or, you know, the 04 air unit or the 03 air unit, I fly it all on automatic settings. The only reason why you would change your shutter speed to the cinematic stuff, because like obviously I have a media company. Like I know I'm an Emmy award winning cinematographer. I know what camera settings you're supposed to use and everything like that. So coming from me, fly in auto with your GoPro, with your stuff, and add the motion blur later. You will save yourself so much time and headache. I see so many people who will fly, like, you know, into houses and stuff, and then they have to fly it twice because they do it once with an ND filter, once without an ND filter, all these things. Fly your drones in auto, forget the ND filters. They only really are for protection. And yes, they do have a purpose. If I'm flying completely outside, I'll throw an ND filter on, stuff like that. But I still fly it in auto settings. Fly your drone in auto settings, add the motion blur later in your editing software of choice. It is so much easier to do it that way than to fiddle with making sure that your exposure is completely right before you start. And that is coming from someone who has made lots of money with FPV. Now, there will be instances like, you know, if I'm flying a cinema camera on top of the drone, obviously I'm going to have the correct settings, because that's what you're supposed to do if you're flying a camera like that. But for GoPros, for Insta360s, for all those things, I'm telling you right now, for the 04 air unit, fly it in auto. If you throw some motion blur in there in your editing software, no one is going to be able to know. Your client, let me tell you this, your client, your real estate agent, your whatever, they are not going to know that you flew that drone with auto camera settings. I'm telling you right now, there has never been a person that has come back to me and been like, oh, did you not set your shutter rate to 1/50? We don't want this foot. Like, no, it's never happened. So just a little tip for you. It's just, I understand there are rules in cinematography and stuff, but sometimes rules are meant to be broken. Anyways, that's my little rant. I apologize for that, but it's one of those things that frustrates me so much, is you don't have to have it perfect to make money or to do whatever. All right, let me get back to chats. Two of your best hobbies. It's hard because of the dynamics of locations. You've flown in fields and forests and trying to film. Yes, you crashed and said forest. Use Hawkeye Thumb 2. I do have a ND32 filter. Normal glass, of course. Yeah, I think you should upgrade. I think you should upgrade to a GoPro. So there is absolutely a difference in cameras whenever it comes to like I don't want to say name brand, because they're all name brand cameras, but bigger name brand cameras like GoPro, like the Osmo, like the Insta360s, their bit rate that they record at is much, much, much higher than kind of like run cam stuff, the Firehawk, like kind of budget friendly action cameras and stuff. The bit rate is much higher, which gives you a much better which gives you a much better video product in the end. So, and then you also get stuff like, you know, for GoPros, you can record in a flat profile. Osmos, you can record in a flat. Every camera company that's big, you can record in flat profiles, which gives you, it kind of makes the footage look black and white, but it gives you the ability to add color back into it. It gives you wider dynamics. It just looks a lot better. So that's how, like, GoPro and stuff, whenever they film for their commercials, you see like GoPro commercials and you're like, oh my gosh, this footage looks insane. Why does my GoPro footage not look like this? It's because they film in a flat profile and then they color grade it afterwards. And so it's going to like, and there are simple ways. I'm telling you, color grading is not as hard as people think it is. It can be absolutely, like color grading for like cinema cameras and stuff is very, it's hard. But if you're color grading for like a GoPro or something, you can throw on a conversion LUT onto it and add a couple little things and you are good to go. Which maybe I should. Okay, I don't know how to make a poll. I'm in Streamlabs and stuff like that. Give me let's do rockets. Put rockets in the chat if you want a video about how to color grade GoPro footage and O4 air unit footage, any just drone footage that you've got to where you can get the best possible image out of your drone for very simple. Put some rockets in the chat. Because I think that would be very helpful. Because one of the things that I see and I get comments about all the time is people are like, you know, I'm a decent pilot. I'm not the best drone pilot in the world by any means, but my footage does look fantastic, and I get views and things like that. And one of the things that I tell people is like, you know, a lot of pilots are amazing pilots, but they don't know how to color grade their footage and they don't know how to edit their videos. And so their videos don't get seen and they don't get noticed by people because the quality just doesn't look good because they just don't know the cinema side of things. They know the pilot side of things. Whereas like me, I started off with the cinema side of things in my, businesses and stuff like that. And then I went to the drone side of things. So while I may not be the best pilot, I'm getting booked over other pilots because my footage looks so much better. UK, you don't know how to put rockets, but that would 100% be nice. Yeah, it 100% would be. I'll add that to the idea video list. Someone DM me on Instagram to just remind me that I said that during stream, or I'll clip it, or I don't know how people do this. I need a moderator or something. Demo, where are you at? But yeah, hang on. Wait a minute, I'm gonna try to say this right. Pabashin Nato has subscribed. Thank you so much, Pabashin, for your subscription. I hope I said your name right. I was homeschooled, so reading may not be my strong suit. I'm just kidding. My mom did a great job. Love you, Mom. Shout out. How do you feel about Walk Snail goggles, cameras, and VTX? So I have never used Walk Snail. If Walk Snail wanted to reach out to me and send me some stuff, I would love to review it and test it out, but I've never used Walk Snail. I've only used traditional analog and DJI stuff. But I do have a buddy of mine who lives out here, and he went from the Walk Snail system to the DJI just recently. And he is very much so a fan of the DJI system over the Walk Snail system. So he's not a crazy racing pilot. He does freestyle stuff, so he prefers the DJI system over the Walk Snail system. But I personally, I don't know that I have a leg to stand on and talk about it just because I've never used it myself, and I wouldn't want to speculate and say something and then try it and it be like, oh no, this is actually phenomenal. But there's a lot of people there's a lot of people who still use Walk Snail, so it's got to be good. Any GoPro in particular? So I have I'm gonna teach y'all some game here. Listen, I don't hold back on any of my secrets. I have, for GoPro, I use a Hero 11 Mini. I would say anything 11 or above would be great. I like the 11 Mini because it's just a small form factor. And it kind of reminds me of the Osmo Action 2 or the DJI Action 2, which I loved that camera. And I gave it to another pilot. But yes, I would suggest, hey, we got more rockets. I would suggest GoPro 11 mini, GoPro 11, anything that and above. Even a GoPro 10 is good. I've got the Bones. The Bones, I cannot get it to work. It worked for me for about 3 months, and then it just pooped out on me, and I sent them to get a new one, and it still just doesn't work. And so I don't know what's going on with the Bones. Don't get the Bones. It was a good thought, but I don't think in practicality it works. If you're flying 5-inch drones, get a full GoPro, buy a cable that allows you to plug it directly into your battery instead of using the battery that it comes with. DJI FPV prints, real. I don't know what that means. Am I missing something? But yes, so I would say anything 11 or above is going to be your best bet, because I think 11 through 13 all have the same sensors in them, maybe. I would have to look that up. But I buy, here we go, action cameras, buy used from Facebook Marketplace or from Craigslist or whatever you've got for buying stuff used. Okay, I can't say I don't buy action cameras brand new. I have bought action cameras brand new, but I always buy them used now. I did just buy an Insta360 X4 a couple weeks ago, but that's because no one's selling them used. Yeah, so I would suggest those. I get everything used. I'm a deal connoisseur. I wheel and deal. I sell all of my old equipment, so like I'm about to sell some DJI goggles here in the next couple weeks because I've got 3 sets of DJI goggles and I only need 1. So same way, many pilots who fly in beautiful places, wild beaches, high mountains stand out. Pilots who do tricks or ordinary meadows have a hard time. Yeah, it's all about where you're flying, what you're flying, how you're flying, because it's one of those things where so I'll show you. Like, people will fly and they'll be like, and so you're just sitting here flying like this, and like that makes me want to vomit. And so for a normal person, while yes, it's impressive that they can do all of that, a normal person doesn't care about how crazy you can fly like that. So what I'm doing, even in this live stream, I'm not doing anything too crazy. I'm just doing like simple tricks, but they kind of flow together and it's more enjoyable to watch. And so I like people who, honestly, like sometimes worse pilots do better because normal people can understand the movements of a not so great pilot, whereas sometimes great pilots hurt themselves in terms of like virality and stuff, because while they're flying for other drone pilots, here's the best way to put it. Most people fly for other drone pilots. I fly for the general population. I want the general population to look at what I do and say, wow, that's impressive. I don't care if drone pilots think I'm an impressive drone pilot, because drone pilots aren't purchasing my services because they have their own drones. So for me, I try to fly smoother, obviously I'm doing some tricks and stuff, but I don't do anything too crazy because I want the average person to be able to kind of understand and comprehend what I'm doing. Whereas some really good drone pilots just do crazy maneuvers that I would never be able to do, and they're way more amazing pilots than I do, but they're flying for other drone pilots. They're not flying for the general population, if that makes sense. Let's see here. This is Velocidrone. What do you think about the new sensor in the Action 5? In my opinion, GoPro has been driven out of the market. Only the GoPro color scheme that many like remains. Yeah, honestly, I would probably... So I've looked at the Action 5. I kind of like the Ace Pro 2. I like the way that looks. My thing with the GoPros is that they can be decased, and I think that's really what they have going for them right now. If they lose the ability to be decased, then it's just it's gonna swallow them up, because I think so many other companies are coming out with so much good stuff. Now, if I truly wish DJI would come out with a essentially naked a naked Osmo Action 5, and it would every single drone pilot would own that camera. It would be one of those take my money situations. If DJI made one of those, a decased or just a slimmer, and I know they've got the 04 air unit, but it's not the same as a full size action camera. It's not. So I think they're getting closer and closer with their air units to being just as good as a action camera. But the problem is their air units have to do so much and they have to transmit at the same time that's just a lot of processing power. You like Uncrashed? I love Uncrashed. So one of the reasons why I play Velocidrone is I love the physics on it, but also it's one of the ones that runs the best on my computer. So with streaming, I want it to run as smooth as possible, and Velocidrone allows me to do that. But I do love Uncrashed. I play that every single week. A lot of people don't actually know how hard these tricks are even to do. So doing a trippy spin and inverted roll won't mean anything to non-FPV pilots. Yeah, I 100% agree. Ryu Kiru, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome to the family. Yeah, I mean, like, it does, trippy spins can look cool in certain things, but honestly, oh, I just messed that up. That was dumb. My bad. Trippy, okay, we're moving because I don't know why I messed up that trippy spin. We'll come over here and do it. Like, trippy spins are cool, but like it, kind of hurts your head a little bit, and you don't really know what you're looking at if you just don't know. So like, I don't do trippy spins in like my normal stuff. I just want to hit small gaps. One of the things that I think about is whenever I was getting into FPV, what enticed me about FPV and wanting to get into it. And it was being able to hit small gaps, being able to fly inside, and being able to dive things. And so those are kind of the three things that whenever I'm flying, that I kind of look for. Is I want to be able to have videos where my maneuverability looks really cool. I get different perspectives that I can't get with anything else. I hit small gaps, which I wouldn't be able to do with anything else. And then diving buildings, which you can't do with anything else unless you have like an insane camera rig that you just drop off the side of a building, which who wants that? Now in these streams, obviously, I want to keep it interesting, so I do a lot more tricks, but in normal flying, for social media and for companies and stuff, I just don't do it. The DJI ban thing makes you nervous. You'd be mad if I buy it and then they get a ban. So I don't think DJI is going to get banned. I really don't, especially with TikTok becoming unbanned. I really don't think that DJI is going to get a ban. I think that there's a lot of things changing in the States right now in terms of how do I put this? There's just a lot of policies that have been put in place that are becoming undone. Like even with the FAA stuff over the past 2 years with remote ID and flying over people and stuff, is they're kind of repealing that and making it to where you can fly over people with a waiver, because no one really crashed into people. And if they had a waiver, they never crashed. They were doing things the right way. So they're kind of being a little bit more lenient on that if you go through the right processes. So I don't think DJI is going to get a ban, but I don't think that if DJI gets banned in the United States, I don't think that they are going to ban the drones that are already here. I think it's going to be a ban on new drones. That's what my speculation is. It's all speculation. I have no idea. You find it funny you let people fly on a sim when they say, "Oh, that is my favorite thing to do." Anytime someone's like, "Oh, I could probably fly drones like that," I'm like, "Sweet." And I almost always have like a drone controller on me or something and my computer, and I'm like, "Let's pop into a simulator and let's test that out." And they get humbled very quickly because it's not an easy thing to be able to consistently do. Let's see here. Flame emoji, thank you so much. What models of DJI goggles are you selling? I'm selling DJI goggles V2. So I've got 2 sets of the V2. So I'm selling one right now, and then I'll sell the other one whenever I get rid of all of my original air units. But because several of my drones still have original air units in them, I can't completely get rid of that system. So it's the DJI goggles V2 that I'll be getting rid of, one set of them, and then I'll probably buy another 04 air unit with that money, and then just slowly start selling off old DJI equipment to convert everything to either the 04 Pro or the 04 Lite. People prefer lines over tricks. Yeah, people 100% prefer lines over tricks. Johnny is the reason you got into FPV and the reason you're broke. I love it. That makes my heart so happy. That's really cool to hear that. Not that you're broke because of me, but I get it. Someone else is the reason why I'm broke. But I really appreciate that I had some impact on getting you into FPV. That makes all of it worth it, because I do spend a lot of time in, flying and making videos and trying to do these live streams and stuff like that. And so it means the world to me that, it did have an impact on someone, because that's, what it's all about. It's so hard. It is so difficult. You're looking at your statement. Looking at your statements, I'm surprised that you are so willing to speak about all topics related to filming an FPV. You can see the knowledge and willingness to share it. Thanks for that. Absolutely. I know. So that just comes from a lot of history in my life of why I don't gatekeep things. So I started just kind of my whole journey into everything that I do. I was in college for music and was a decent musician. I traveled with a band, wrote songs, had a very promising music career ahead of me, and I had some tragedies in my life, and I had to rethink a whole lot of things that happened. I lost some people, and so I ended up. My brother was like, "Hey, do photography to get you." Music promoted and things like that. And so I started that and just fell in love with it. And so I dropped out of college my senior year in order to pursue photography and videography. And whenever I was starting, so many people were gatekeeping so much stuff, just like crazy gatekeeping. And I kind of had to blaze my own path because I wasn't going to go back to college, and I wasn't going to go back to college for photography and videography. So I had to learn everything on my own through YouTube and stuff. But even on YouTube, so many people were gatekeeping, and I've just always made the commitment that all the information that I have, I can give to others. Now, obviously, I would love to make a course and make some money off of that and stuff, but that's a whole lot of work, and I kind of like this format better. But it's one of those things where I should be able to give another person all of the information that I know and still do it better. And that's my thing is, I used to bring photographers with me to locations that were kind of secret, and shoot with them. And, we would get the same pictures, but they would look differently. So we could have the same camera showing up to the same location, taking almost the same pictures, and I would want mine to still be better. And so that's just always my goal is, I want people to be able to make money and to be able to do the things that I do, but that's also going to push me to be better. And so if I'm just at the top on an island alone by myself, no one's pushing me to be better. And so if I can give out information to people to get them to be better, that's going to force me to have to be better as well. So that's one of the reasons why I share it all, because I want to get better. And if there aren't people around me who are pushing me to get better because they don't know what I know, then I can't get better. So that's just kind of, and I've been burned by that before, where people have taken information I've given them and, done things, and they were better than I was. And so it just, then I have to improve. And it's just the way that it works. Your brother was mocking you for crashing your Whoop. And you sent him up on a sim first thing and he had to go full throttle into a building. Yeah. I've done that before. And it's funny. There's even been drone pilots who flew like DJI, just regular drones. I'm like, oh yeah, I can fly FPV, and I'll hand them my drone, and then they immediately crash it. And I'm like, yeah, that was, you now owe me a couple $100 and you did not do what you were supposed to. Your favorite tricks is the Rubik's Cube is the best. I don't know if I know how to do the Rubik's Cube. I can do some things. Nothing too crazy. Oh look, we have chats in the Cody is chatting. Let's see here. You've got the CSX kit and you want the DJI system. What goggles should you go with? So, my buddy that I talked about earlier, I don't know if you were here for that. My buddy that I talked about earlier, he, got the goggles N3, and I believe that the goggles N3 just have one screen instead of like the two eye holes for the screen. I don't know. That did not sound right. Anyways, I think the goggles N3 are fine if you're wanting to be on a budget. But the goggles 3, obviously are the latest and greatest, and they're phenomenal. Cinematic shots or freestyle. So I enjoy the cinematic side of things. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I do really love the cinematic side of things, especially like, you know, it's cinematography is kind of at the heart of everything that I do. You know, with my YouTube videos, with my drone stuff, you can obviously tell just by the way that I film things for my YouTube channel that I try to have cinematography in mind, at least a little bit. So I prefer cinema stuff, but I enjoy freestyle for just like me personally. There's a lot of like flights that I do, and stuff that doesn't get posted online, just because it's for me, and you know, I'll crash a ton or do whatever, but I enjoy those things, and that's kind of my way to kind of just keep things for myself. I don't think everything needs to be shared with everyone, so if I can keep some things to myself, I enjoy that. Do a kickflip. I got you, Joe. Boom, kickflip. Thanks for jumping in here, Joe. I miss you. We need to have lunch this week. I'll text you tonight after I get off stream, because I miss you, dude. Oh, we got a subscriber, Matthew Moore. Thank you so much for the subscription. And guys, listen, I don't have a ton of stuff set up yet, but if you want to become a member, I don't think it's very expensive. It's been a while since I've set them up. So become a member, and you'll get to see my videos full 24 hours before everyone else. And you can tell me if you love them or if you hate them, and help me out. And you'll also get more access to me. So we've got some members that, like, you know, have my phone number. We'll do phone calls sometimes and stuff like that. So become a member. You can see my member goal. We've got 1 right now, so let's get that goal up to 10. What FPV drone would I recommend? If you're just starting off, I would recommend anything that is a 65mm tiny whoop. In 3 are box goggles. They're cheaper because box goggles 3 would be better, tough feature wise. Yeah, I like my goggles 3, but I have box goggles for analog, and I, you know, don't mind those, but also like my analog stuff, I'm not flying very far. My analog stuff is all tiny whoops. I don't have any analog drones that are bigger than 85mm, I believe. You're getting the DJI Neo goggles 3 and Motion 3. What do you think of the FPV? The FPV of the Neo. So I have not flown the Neo yet. From what I've seen, it's fine. I don't think you can. I mean, you know, certain pilots push it and will do freestyle with it. I don't think that you should do freestyle with the Neo. Like, that should not be the reason why you're purchasing it. But I think, you know, it could be great for, like, you know, doing basic stuff around your house, kind of learning the feels of the controller, stuff like that. I think you can get some really cool shots with it, but I don't expect it to be a freestyle machine or anything like that. But I think it's a good starter drone. Condolences rental. I don't know what that means. Please explain. Flick it. So Joe commenting flick it whenever I was in, it was Guatemala whenever I was saying that, right? I was going up the mountains in Guatemala and I was flicking my drone to fly it down, and I think we just kept saying flick it or something like that. For me flying the drone, I was like, I need to flick it. And yeah, it was so funny. But Joe, in the comments, he's one of the guys that actually he is the guy that brought me on to go to Guatemala. How I was saying that I've gone a couple countries for free, offering my services for free. So Joe is an amazing dude, and he is the reason why I've gotten a lot of opportunities and stuff. So he's just is awesome. But yeah, we were flicking it in the mountains. It's terrible, Joe. Oh, it's so bad. Biggest problem with YouTube is that there are tons of answers to solve one problem. Some will work, others will cause problems, and others won't work at all. I completely agree. That's one of the things that is hard with FPV, is because everything is kind of such like unique issues that it's hard to kind of give answers without you knowing exactly what's going on, like without you holding the drone essentially. It's difficult to like troubleshoot someone else's drone or like give answers, because what works for me might not be what works for someone else. I mean, even in like, my color grading for my cinematography stuff and whatnot, there's 50 million different ways that you could color grade the footage and get it all basically the same way. It just kind of depends on the system that you want to use and what works for you. And I think that's one thing, with being on the internet and asking for help and stuff, or even putting yourself out there and flying or whatever. Everyone has a way that they do things that is their own. So for instance, like how I said, I fly with automatic settings in whenever I, fly drone. Excuse me, Lord have mercy. I fly in automatic settings. That's my personal preference. Someone else could say, don't do it in auto settings. But what has worked for me and what has made me the most money is the automatic settings. So I don't have an issue saying that. But, everyone's going to have their own opinions about stuff. And there's not, I don't know that there's necessarily one exact right answer for that. Well, Neo is going to be your first FPV. Oh, if Neo is your first FPV, yeah, then you'll be solid with that. You've FPV'd a Neo before. It genuinely sucks. Well, it genuinely sucks for FPV. Quality is awesome, but it honestly feels like a wet sock with whoop motors. Oh man, that is the greatest description of a drone. So the first DJI FPV drone, everyone called it the potato, but I like the wet sock with motors. Now I want to buy a Neo just so I can review it, just so I can call it a wet sock with motors, because that is hilarious. I actually have a video idea with the Neo. I don't know that I necessarily want to spend $300 to do a video on the Neo. Maybe I'll do a giveaway with it. And I don't want to give away the video idea because I don't want someone to take it, but I think it could be interesting. But it's kind of a gamble, because if it works, it'll be an amazing video. And if it doesn't work, it's literally going to suck as a video. So I'm debating on if I want to spend $250, $300, whatever it is, to buy a Neo in order to test out my theory. I need to find a friend that's got one. The trick you do, it names. Oh, yes, I can do an inverted yaw spin. Boom, there it is. Something like that. This game is Velocidrone. It's awesome for cinematic like the Avata, but the light is really underpowering. Tricks are no-go. It is, however, really tough, so it'll survive a few crashes. Yeah, I think for beginners, the Neo, that's what it was designed for. So I think it'll be fine for you, but I know just from personal experience with the original DJI FPV drone that I got tired of it very quickly and wanted to move on to something bigger and better. Now, I will say, and this is a very unpopular opinion with all drone pilots, I believe. I don't know how many people, like, when I say all drone pilots, I mean like serious FPV dudes who build their own drones and stuff like that. I love my Avata 2. I have made more money with my Avata 2 than I have any other drone that I own. So I'm going to be making a video here in the next couple of weeks talking about why I love the Avata so much. And it is not the best for freestyle. It is not the best for home tours. It is not the best for, normal kind of cinematic movements. But it does all of those things together better than any other drone does them together. And so I keep the DJI Avata 2 with me. Like, that is my travel drone. I take it whenever I travel. It is the drone that I use for all of my home tours because it's easy. So the Avata 2, unpopular opinion, but if you want to make some money with some FPV drones, get the Avata 2, because it is a money-making machine. But yeah, that's my what do you call it, hot take on the Avata 2, and I'm gonna make a review video that explains that. All right, let's get some more questions in. Wow, there's 80 of you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to take a drink because I've been talking for the past hour and a half and my mouth is getting dry. Yeah, no, I appreciate everyone who is commenting and asking questions and stuff like that. The more that you guys engage, the better the stream is. If you go back and watch, this live stream after it's over, you'll see like the first 15 minutes there was no one in the stream, and I was kind of like talking to a brick wall. So just the more you guys hang out and comment and ask me questions and stuff, the better the stream gets. So it's kind of a group effort for all of this. DJI drones are really good for video cinematics. That's their intended purpose, so it's kind of understandable. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of a jack of all trades, which I guess why I like it so much, because me personally, I'm a jack of all trades. The saying, jack of all trades, master of none. Better at some things. I don't know what it is, but that terminology is like, you want to be a jack of all trades. I can step on a set of any shoot that I do and be able to do every single job on that set. I may not be 100% the best, but I can do every single job, and people pay me for that expertise. And it's the same way with like drones and stuff. And so if the Avata is kind of that thing, it may not be the 100% best at every single thing that it does, but it can do everything extremely well. And it's like the Swiss Army knife of drones, if that makes sense. When do I think the Avata 3 will come out? So they just released the Air unit this year. So I'm going to make a prediction that the Avata 3 will come out in 2026. That's what I'm thinking, because they just released the 03 or the 04 Air unit, and they want to give that some time to sell. They don't want to introduce technology that kind of like, you don't want to release a new drone that makes everything that you just created obsolete, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Boxer controller, DJI. Oh, this Boxer Crush controller is my favorite controller I have ever touched. If I could get this to work with DJI drones, I would be in heaven, 1000%. Yeah, no, the jack of all trades things, but look it up. Someone look it up, because there is more to that quote. The jack of all trades, master of none. There's like a whole second section to that quote that talks about being a jack of all trades is better than being a master. I'm pretty sure. Maybe someone let me know in the comments down below if I'm crazy. Someone comment it. Go look it up if you can. Don't leave the stream. But what do I think about the DJI Mini 3? I like the DJI Mini 3. So if you watch my last review video where I say, is this $400 drone worth it? Spoiler alert, it's not. So I tell people in that video to go buy the DJI Mini 3 over the other cheap drones, because it's the same price as the other cheap drones. Quote it, better than master of one. Yeah, see, Greg's got it. Greg knows what is up. I'm pretty sure that's it. The jack of all trades in that quote is better. Now, that doesn't mean that quote is like perfect all things. Yeah, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Yeah. So there's a sermon, like a church sermon. Oh, thank you. Hang on. Thank you, Guzfro, for subscribing. So there was whenever I was younger, there was a pastor who made a sermon illustration that I think doesn't just apply to religion or anything, but kind of applies to life, is like, you know, whenever you're out in the garage and you're building something, or even just building something, like you get out your tools, and if you don't have the right tool for the job, you normally just grab the tool that's closest to you and kind of make it work. That's kind of what being a jack of all trades is like, yes, you know, you have every single screwdriver in the world and, you know, every single specific tool, but there are other tools that you just have on hand and just work better for the thing. And so that's kind of what I, you know, try to be, is I want to be a jack of all trades, to where no matter what someone needs from me on a shoot, or, you know, flying drones or YouTube or whatever, I want to be able to say, yes, I can do that. Or if I can't do it, I know the person that can, and I can get them to you, kind of thing. Let's see here. What do you think of the ban of DJI in the US? I don't think it's going to happen. I think that we'll be having DJI drones for a long time. Our government relies on DJI drones very heavily for a lot of things that they do, whether they will admit it or not. And there is no US manufacturer of drones that can hold a candle to DJI. So unless we get somebody to come in and create some amazing US drones, it's not happening. Is the DJI controller inhibit your ability to make good content? So I would say that the DJI controller is not great. It works, it's fine, but there is definitely a difference in flying with the Boxer controller than there is the DJI controller. Like, the first thing that I do anytime I get a new DJI controller is I replace the thumbsticks that it comes with. I always get longer sticks, so the throw, like how far the stick actually moves, is so short on a DJI controller that it gives you less control over the drone. So the longer the throw on your sticks is, the more precise control you get. And so the only way to make that better on a DJI drone is to make it bigger sticks. But then if you get bigger sticks, it kind of hurts the ergonomics of your hands on it. So I would prefer being able to use the controller that fits my hands the best versus using what they have. You're falling farther. It was nice to sit on the live show. For now, everyone. Well, thank you, Nursey. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Come back on Wednesday. Bonks into silo. Yeah, you already know. What is my most powerful drone? So my most powerful drone that I have right now, for now, is my iFlight Nazgul Evoke F5X. That is my 5-inch freestyle drone. It's the most powerful one I got. I'm in the process of getting parts to build a newer and more powerful drone, that it will also be a 5-inch freestyle drone, but that's just kind of the first 5-inch that I got. And you know, drones, as everyone who has looked into drones are expensive. So also with me, you know, my last couple years have been absolutely crazy in terms of, like, you know, went through a divorce, started a new business, so money's been tight. So I've had one 5-inch drone for the past 3 years, and so now that things are getting better, the business is doing great, YouTube's making me more money, I can start building and making some more drones that'll be even better and crazier. Autel kind of rivals DJI. Yes, Autel does, but Autel is also made in China. So I don't. Autel would be the one that I think that, you know, would take over DJI, but I believe that Autel is made in China. I think that the company is technically an American company, but I think it's kind of like Apple, where they're designed in California and created in China. And so, yeah, I'm not sure. How can you charge your 6S batteries? Seems really complicated, especially when looking at charging multiple batteries at the same time. All right, so I'm gonna try. I've got a video on this. I'll probably need to make a new one because it's a little old. But the easiest way to do it is the battery has to charge at 1C. So you look at the battery on the side, and so say it's you know, my 6S batteries are 1300 milliamp hours. So you take that and you divide it by 100, and so you get, or no, you divide it by 1,000, so you get 1.3. So that is the rating that you set your charger to for each individual battery. So if you're charging, 3 batteries, then you would multiply that by 1.3, and that's your voltage, or your, I forget what it's called. I would have to look at my charger behind me. But that's how you determine how fast and how powerful you're going to charge your batteries. How many amps you charge your battery at is based on the milliamp hours of the batteries that you are charging. I hope that made it a little bit simple. You just take whatever milliamp hours on the side of your battery, divide it by 1,000. So for instance, if you have a 500 milliamp hour battery, that would be 0.5. And then however many batteries you're charging, you multiply it by that 0.5. Sitting on brand new HD0s, analog, module, everything. Should I sell for goggles 3 to get 04 bills, or just ride it out? You already purchased equipment. You don't race, but not close to the idea. Honestly, I'm not sure. I have not flown HD0. So the only 2 systems that I have flown is DJI and analog. Those are the only 2 systems I've flown. So I can't really tell you. I know a lot of people are switching from Walk Snail to DJI right now with the new 04 and the 04 Lite coming out. So I really just don't know what to tell you, and I wish I had more information for you, but from personal experience, I can't really say one way or another. Yes, design in country, one and made. Yes, I 100% agree, which is why, so even Autel was, there was something to where Autel was included. Oh, the ban on using DJI drones in the government, Autel was included in that because they are assembled in China. I believe. I think so. Like Obama said, you can't walk forward and looking backward at the same time. Hashtag time for a change. Well, sometimes you have to look back, but yeah, I get the sentiment there. Do I get paid for streaming? So as of right this second, no, not that I'm aware of. I mean, like YouTube, I'm a YouTube partner, so I get monetization on my streams, and like if you all donate or do like super chats or things like that, I get money from that, but I don't like. I think I've gotten 1 member from a stream, and that I think that was like $6 because he went tier 2, which shout out Demo for being my only member, Demo FPV. And so hang on, can we see how this guy over here in the stream right now, well, I'm pointing anyways, doesn't matter, he's freaking out because he wants me to respond, but we're on stream. So but in layman's terms, no, I've made like $6 from streaming. And I'm hoping to make more. So it's one of those things where obviously I have an audience on YouTube, and people enjoy the streams because you all are still here, and subscribing and stuff. I need to figure out a way to give members perks, so it incentivizes people to do memberships. But truly, this is with how it is right now and with the money that I'm making for stream, this is as good as that I can do. So I truly need a Windows PC if I want to upgrade the quality of my streams and have other people come on and stuff. So we're just kind of limited right now. So if you want to support the channel, you can, donate, do supers, those kinds of things. But I will only be using the streaming audio, or I will only be using the money that I make from stream to upgrade my streams. So that's kind of the way that I do things. So my drones, my company pays for my drones and YouTube pays for my drones. So if my company paid for my Avata 2 because I use that to make money, well, YouTube paid for my Pavo 20 Pro because all right, I'm about to kick this dude because he's ticking me off in the chat on my game. So I only pay for things like to upgrade stuff with money that it comes from. So for instance, in order for me to update my stream, to get a better computer, a better camera, or whatever, I'm only going to use money that I make from my stream in order to do, drone reviews on different products. I'm only going to use the money that I make from YouTube to pay for that. To upgrade my cinema camera equipment, I use money that I made from my business in order to upgrade that. So like, for instance, my 3D printer business, I 3D print stuff for my drones. It works for me, but I have a 3D printer business where I sell some of my drone mounts and stuff, and I won't upgrade my 3D printer until I make enough money from that to upgrade it. So if that kind of makes sense, that I don't invest money into things unless they are bringing me a return on investment, if that makes sense. I am what do I fly in real life? So I've got a bunch of drones. I fly a lot of tiny whoops, and so I've got the. Hang on, let me respond to this guy on here real quick. Okay, sorry about that interruption. Okay, here we go. So I have the iFlight Nazgul Evoke F5X for my 5-inch freestyle. I've got the Pavo 20 Pro with an O3 air unit on it. I've got the Flylens 85 with a naked O3 air unit on it. I've got the Cinelog 25 that I'll sometimes mount a Insta360 Go 3 on. I've got the Beta FPV Cetus X, the Aquilus 16. I've got the Beta FPV Air 65 or Air 75. The Meteor 75 Pro, the new one that just came out. There'll be a review dropping on that this week. And then I've got the Newbie Drone Hummingbird V3.1 race spec and the Mobula 6. And I believe those are all the drones that I have. Have I made over 10 grand from YouTube? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. So there is one video that I have on YouTube that has over 76 million views on it. It's a short. And from that video alone, I made about, I think it's up to like $6,000 or $7,000 on that video alone. Now that's over the course of almost 2 years now. So it's an older video. But yeah, I mean, I'll make right now with YouTube because shorts have kind of messed me up a little bit because I get more viewers from shorts, but the people who view my shorts don't view my long form content. So I think I'm going to stop posting shorts on this account and only post long form content and lives and have another account for all my shorts. But from because shorts are a majority of my views and I don't get many views from my actual long form content versus in terms of my subscriber count. I only make about maybe $300 to $500 a month if I have a really good month on YouTube. So really with the amount of effort that I put into my videos, my company, if I was putting that much effort into a video for my company, which I mean I do, I would be making a way more money. But YouTube is its own monster, and so I need to get my long form content views up before I'll start getting paid more and before I'll start getting more sponsorships, because I have affiliates, but sponsorships are where it's at to really make some money on YouTube, and I just don't have any sponsors for the channel. But I'm growing. I've had this YouTube channel for almost 10 years now, and I've really only been hitting YouTube hard hard for the past year in terms of long form content. So I'm still growing. I don't, even though I have 80,000 subscribers, I don't consider myself a massive channel. I still feel like I'm kind of in the beginning stages of really figuring out what this is. What size capacitor should you get for a 4S build? I have absolutely no idea. Hopefully someone in the comments can help you out, because I have not done a 4S build. I mean, I have a pre-built 4S, but I don't have any. I've not built any 4S drones. So hopefully, did you get your part 107? Is yes, if yes, any advice looking to move away from the tech industry into something more IRL? So yes, I do have my part 107. I got it a couple years ago. And it's because I, fly for a business, and because I make money off of YouTube, I have to have my part 107. The part 107 test is, I was terrified to do it. It's not as bad as it seems. So I took the Pilot Institute course, which I have an affiliate link for. If you want to do it, please use my affiliate link. Let me make some money off of this. I used the Pilot Institute course, and I got like a 93 on my test. And so there's a lot of information that you learn in Pilot Institute that you think you have to know by memory, but then they give you like a book. And there's a lot of answers in the book. Not like, it doesn't like just like blatantly give you the answers, but like, if you know how to kind of figure it out. So for instance, on a map, Class C airspace is red. And so what it'll say is, what airspace is on the map that is being shown, and you'll look in the book and it'll be red, and you're like, okay, Class C airspace. Like those kinds of things. It kind of gives you the answers, in a lot of things. Now, there are some things kind of like the Part 107, like rules and regulations, like Part 107, Section 4, Subsection D says, those things you'll have to have memorized, but the test really isn't as bad as you might think it is. I know my buddy, I'm not going to say any names, my buddy speed ran the test, so he went through the Pilot Institute course in a week and speed ran the test and still got like an 83 on the test or something like that. So yeah. Yes, Oscar Liang is, I don't know how to say his last name, is the freaking man. I go to his page all the time for troubleshooting stuff, so go look for that. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's been 14 minutes since we've had a subscription. I think it's bugged. Someone help me out. It's Bugged Boys. All right, does anybody know what podcast that's from? It's Bugged Boys. Do we know? Or it might be multiple podcasts, but that I just know it from the one. Are they? No, they're not live streaming tonight. Just kidding. Yeah. All right. More questions. Hit me with them. This has been awesome. We're just hanging out. I've gotten a lot of good flying in today. I've flown. So if this is 2 hours, I've flown for almost 3.5 hours total today. That's a good day. Whenever I can fly a drone for over an hour, that's a good day. Sounds pretty straightforward, probably made to seem difficult to scare away most people to keep skies clear. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Timothy. I appreciate you subbing to the channel. Oh, I get what's happening. So on my feed, it only shows, the description only pops up if the person has public subscriptions on. So I appreciate everyone subscribing. If I don't see you, I apologize. It's because you don't have your subscriptions public, but I do appreciate you. And yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So let me say this. So the Part 107 test, they had a lot of things in it that were unnecessary. I talked about this a little bit earlier of just like, the FAA having a lot of unnecessary laws and stuff when it comes to drones. So there was a lot of things that you needed to know that were unnecessary for flying drones. Like for instance, there was stuff about like the weather. So it was, you can't fly if, or it was talking about fog types and cloud types and stuff like that. And it was like, well, if you're, if the space that you're flying in, you had to be able to see for like 3 nautical miles or something like that, in terms of fog, or you couldn't fly. But the problem is you're flying an FPV drone, or you're flying a drone, and you're required by law to have a visual observer and to be able to have line of sight of the drone at all times. So you can't see the drone 3 miles away. So why does it matter how clear the sky is 3 miles away if you can't legally fly. So there was like a lot of like redundancy things to where like one law negated other laws. And so they've been slowly kind of like retracting that. So for instance, there is no weather section on the Part 107 tests anymore. There might be like a couple questions, like 2 or 3, but it used to be like a whole section about like, you know, what's the scientific name of all the clouds? You know, what does this fog mean? What does it mean whenever this air temperature happens? And like a lot of those things have been taken off the test because they're just not necessary. Now, if you're flying a plane, it's absolutely important to know. But, you know, flying a drone, legally, you're only allowed to fly 400 feet above you, and you're only allowed to fly as far as you have visual or line of sight, and then your visual observer, if you're flying FPV, has line of sight. So there was just a lot of redundancy in it that they're slowly taking out, I think. And I literally just ran into that because I was watching the chat. But yes, I am Part 107 certified, so you can ask any questions about that. I do fly like cinematic drones and stuff. I've flown a bunch of them from DJI. The only one that I haven't flown is the Inspire 3. So if anyone's got an Inspire 3 that they want to let your boy fly, holler at me. And then FPV questions as well. We can I can talk about it all day long. I'm not as great in the building questions, but just general flying and kind of how you should get started and stuff. We're all about it. Yeah, you remember those from middle school? Well, see, listen, I was homeschooled, so I don't know if any of the information that I was actually given is real. I'm just kidding. My mom was an amazing teacher. But yeah, no, I remember them from maybe elementary school as well. I don't know when. I feel like, so we used to do, so I was homeschooled, but we used to have like certain subjects that my mom either didn't want to teach or just didn't have time to because there were 6 of us. She would have like it was like, you know, a recording of someone's actual classroom or something that we would watch. And so the teacher of that classroom, whenever I was in 2nd grade science, was Miss Vick. And so I feel like I remember Miss Vick talking about different cloud formations and stuff, because Miss Vick, I'm pretty sure, was my favorite teacher, but she was 2nd grade. Only within VLOS. Meanwhile, every FPV pilot without a spotter, and me as a long range pilot, by the way. Do you fly long range too? I have not ever flown long range, and I always have a visual observer whenever I'm flying. Always have a visual observer. So just so we're clear on that, I always have a visual observer whenever I fly. I want to get into long range. I think long range would be awesome. Where I live, there's not much of a, I don't want to say need for long range, but it's just not as, like, we don't have any like crazy mountains or anything, and like the mountains that we do have are all in national parks, and so it's kind of hard to be able to fly. Do I fly with remote ID module? And if you don't, you ever gotten in trouble for not having it? I do fly with remote ID. All of my drones have remote ID on them. I have not ever gotten in trouble with remote ID. So one of the, I have gotten in trouble with the FAA before. I have not gotten in trouble with remote. Well, technically that might have been in trouble with remote ID, but remote ID didn't exist back then. The laws existed, but like the actual modules didn't. So whenever I talked with the FAA, the guy that I talked to, my personal FAA agent, you know how everyone's got their own personal FBI agent who watches their stuff? I've got my own FAA agent. What he told me is that they do not go out of their way looking for people breaking the law. Especially right now, the FAA has enough to deal with on their plate. They are not going out of their way anymore. They used to, but they're not going out of their way like trying to hunt people down. If someone reports on you, they will investigate. If you do something dangerous, they will investigate. And like, so it's really one of those things where this is, once again, this is not legal advice. This is all speculation, and this is not from personal experience or anything like that. So the FAA is not out to get you or anything like that. They do not. It's one of those things where if you go out in your backyard and fly a drone, the FAA is not necessarily going to like know that you are flying a drone at that moment and come track you down kind of thing. But if you say you're flying and you don't have remote ID and you crash into something and you have to report it, then the FAA is going to bring the hammer down on you for not having remote ID and stuff like that. It's kind of like one of those things where this is a bad comparison, but it like, I don't know of any other way to explain it. It's like driving your car around without insurance. Technically, like, just by looking at your car, no one can see that you do not have insurance. But if you get into a car crash and you don't have insurance, they can do whatever they want to you. And that's kind of the same thing with flying drones and remote ID. It's like, they don't just look at you and are able to tell that, you didn't have remote ID. But if something happens or someone reports you and you don't have remote ID, you're in a world of trouble. So hopefully that makes, sense, I guess. Where am I about? I'm in Kentucky. Good old Kentucky boy. 10 out of 10, you should long range. You got the Gep RC 40, comes to 03 and is awesome. Just a little fragile. It did an upside down yaw spin and land upside down, breaking 2 motors on top plate. Ooh, that's rough. 7K. Ooh. 7KLF, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're doing live streams every Wednesday. I know today's Monday, but it's a bonus day. Yeah, I would love to fly long range. So there's a lot of drones that I really want to fly. But like I said earlier, life has been weird for the past couple of years. And so just money's been extremely tight. And so I haven't been able to purchase any drones that are not necessary for work. Like, I purchased my 5-inch because I needed it for jobs and stuff like that. And then same with the Avata. And then most of my the Flylens 85 was purchased for work. And then most of my other drones were sent to me by companies for review. So there's a lot of drones that I want to get that I want to try different stuff with. It's just in terms of money, it's not in the cards. And so I'm more concerned with if I'm going to spend money on my drones, it's going to be money that is it's going to be for something that is going to put money back into my pocket. Whereas right now, like a long range drone, because of where I'm at, isn't as necessary as the other drones that I have, if that makes sense. Had the cops come to your house one time, you're flying in the backyard. Neighbor thought it was spying on them. That's one of the crazy things is like, I fly drones in my backyard sometimes. My neighbors are kind of used to it by now. They all know what I do and who I am and stuff like that. So they don't really mind it anymore. But that's one of those things where it can get real sketchy real quick. Like I used to work for the news. And so we would have stories and, I would have to go fly the drone for stuff. And and let me say this is a quick caveat. I worked in the news as marketing. I was not a reporter or anything like that. I was just a drone pilot and a cinematographer, and I made documentaries. It was dope. But I don't, we can talk about the news industry some other time. But flying, like I would have to go places and fly. And the amount of times I would have to like go stand on the road to launch my drone so that I wasn't on someone's property whenever I was flying it, and people getting mad that we were filming around their business and stuff, but like they couldn't do anything about it. And so it's just, but then like, I'm on next to Indiana. So we would have stories in Indiana that I would have to go fly, and the drone laws are different in Indiana than they are in Kentucky. So like having to navigate that and stuff. And then, news stations could get sued really easily. So it was very interesting during that time. I definitely had to make sure I was on top of all the rules and regulations. Massachusetts here. Oh, heck yeah. Are you from Boston? I've never actually been to Massachusetts. I need to come sometime. Texas, heck yeah, we love Texas. I lived in Houston for about 3 months, whenever I was in college, and I loved Houston. I will say, it was very humid. I was not expecting it to be that humid. But the city of Houston is cool. There's just too much traffic. It was, so here where I live, anywhere you go in the city, it's about 30 minutes. That's just like, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I want to go all the way to the other side of the city. It's going to take you 30 minutes. Pretty much anywhere you want to go far away or across city, 30 minutes. That's about it. In Houston, it was an hour. There, I don't know if there was ever, other than like just going to the grocery store or whatever. Well, where I was at, it took forever. But I don't know if there was ever a time in Houston whenever I got into my car that I was not in my car for an hour due to the traffic and stuff. And that, I just can't do that. And I'm going to be moving here in a couple months to another city in Kentucky, and it's going to be an even smaller city, and it's like 10 minutes to get anywhere in that city. So, yeah, it's fun stuff. But all right, hit me with some more questions. We've got like 10 minutes left in this stream, and then I got to go do some work. Got complained at while on vacay in Britain 2 years ago. Some lady thought I was flying on her property while I was at least 50 meters. People are silly. Yeah, I mean, I understand that, like, you know, there's been a couple stories of, like, you know, people spying on people with their drones and stuff like that. And up until the Mavic 3 came out, I was like, no one ever needs to worry about it. You have to be so close in order to see anything. But then the Mavic 3 came out the Mavic 3 came out with the telephoto lens that's got like a 10x zoom on it. And I was like, okay, yeah, you could, that's the drone. Now you kind of want to be worried about people kind of like hovering to you and being able to spy in your windows. But even then, like, you would have to be on the ground. You would have to be close. It's just really not practical to use one of those drones to spy on people. Western Massachusetts, more boony. Oh, heck yeah. We love the boonies. That's where it's at. Bostonians don't like us. Oh, no way. But the tech, manufacturing, and construction industry are pretty decent. Nice. That's awesome. Excuse me, Lord. I don't know why I've been burping so much. I apologize. It's disgusting. That's awesome. I don't. So more so like the boonies. So like, what's the terrain? That's what I'm trying to ask. What is the terrain like out there in Western Massachusetts? And you also live in a city like the city that I said where it takes 10 minutes or that takes like 30 minutes? Any opinions on thoughts or scouting out good bandos? So I haven't been in a bando in forever because, once again, I only have one 5-inch drone, and I do not want to lose my 5-inch drone or break it or anything like that. So I used to scout out bandos whenever I did bando photography. I used to do that a lot, and really, they're just like, I know my city, everything has just gotten way more dangerous. Our city is just gone to crap. So I don't do bandos here anymore just because they are kind of sketchy, or like really, really sketchy. But, you know, I would just say explore it without any equipment first, and maybe with some safety protection gear. And just kind of see the vibes of it, and then, you know, come back some other time around the same time of day with with your drones and do that. So yeah, that would be so. Absolutely, you can send me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram is just Johnny Trigo. I am the worst at responding to Instagram DMs and things like that, but I will always try. If I see them, I will always try to do it. But since you've said that you were going to send me one, I'll check my message request. Make sure you follow me too, because then I'll definitely see it. But yeah, you can for sure send me any DMs of questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. But Johnny Trigo is all of my socials. So JONNYTREGO, every single social media platform. Really just Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't really use Twitter, or X, I should say. that just wasn't for me. Whenever it was Twitter, I don't know. I don't think anyone cares to hear, 130 characters of my thoughts. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm pooping, that kind of thing. Anyways, small mountains, old bandos, and from industry. Oh, that sounds awesome. Well, Timothy, it sounds like we're going to have to plan a trip to Massachusetts because that sounds like a ton of fun. Lose one, still got another one. Yes, no. So I 100% want to get another one. So what I'm thinking is I had a company send me a flight controller the other day. So, and then MEPS will send me motors, for free if I, because I'm an affiliate. And then I want to get a frame. So I'm thinking the TBS Source 1 frame. I think that's the one it is. It's just kind of chunky and it seems like it could be a basher. And so that's kind of what I want to get. And then I'm going to take all the air units that I have, cause I have, I've got 3 OG air units and then 2 03 air units and 1 04 air unit. And I think I'm going to keep the OG air units in my 5-inch drones and use those as bashers, and then maybe get 1 5-inch with an 04 in it. And then I'll have a Cinewoop with an 04 in it. And then my Pavo 20 Pro has got the 03 in it. So, heck yeah, Timothy. Hey, Timothy, follow me on Instagram. Let's chat. So yeah, I think that I'll get, I think that I'll at least get 2 more 5-inch quads. I just got to figure out what I want, and like what kind of motors and stuff. I'm very new to kind of building drones from completely scratch. So, and I'm going to make some videos about that of just like what my process is, cause it's very intimidating to do it all. But listen, guys, it has been an amazing stream. I'm going to hop off here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We will be streaming every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time until 9 p.m. Thank you guys so much. This really has been an amazing stream, and it's been a blast. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. See ya.